Hey, Kids Ministry leaders. My name is Stephanie Chase.
And I'm Stephanie Rogers.
And we are your co-hosts for the Kids Ministry podcast. And today we are going to talk about some of your favorite people and our favorite people. We are going to talk about parents.
Oh, we love parents. They're great.
Yes, we do. You know what, Steph? We're going to talk about connecting with parents, getting to know them, how to connect with them. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about different kinds of parents.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know about at your church, but at our church,
we have all kinds of parents.
We have all kinds of parents, but we've noticed that there are some different kinds of parents. Like, for example, we like to call her Hovering Harriet.
Hovering Harriet, she is serious about her duties, her self-assigned duties.
Yes, she is. And This is what Hovering Harriet, I should have brought my hat. I have a Hovering Harriet hat, but what she likes to do when she drops off her child is on the way in, she'll do something like this. Oh, honey, I know you're going to miss me. I know you're going to be so sad when mom leaves and you're probably going to cry and it's going to be so hard. But if you want to go with me, you can go with me. But I know you should probably go to your class, and I know you don't want to, but I'll stand right outside the door, and actually I'll just go in with you.
Oh, yes.
I'll just come on in with you, and I'll be in there with you, and I'll play with you just to help you get transitioned in, right? And then if you're not happy, well, then we can just go.
Yeah, Hovering Harriet also likes to offer up other people's children to be assigned to their child's class. They like it. The cousins are going to go in together. The brother and the sister, who are totally different ages, are going to go together so they can take care of each other.
Yes. But we know we need to be careful with our age groups for safety.
Yes.
So here's some things to know about Hovering Harriet and about parents in general. Parents should not be allowed in the classroom.
Never.
No. The only leaders and adults allowed in your classroom or teenage students are people who are safe and secure. And you need to make sure that you're following your safety procedures. Like at Champion Forest, there must always be 2 adults in a classroom. Okay. And all of our leaders need to be what we call safe and secure. They have their background check. They watched a video to make sure they understand all of our requirements in working with children.
Right.
So we don't allow parents in the classrooms. So you've got to stand at that door, which means we need 1 teacher at the door every time greeting. And this goes back to the schedule. 1 teacher's at the door. The other teacher or teachers are in the learning centers playing with the children, so that the teacher at the door greets the parent.
And then you need a second teacher who's kind of in the background with the learning centers, pulling the kid from the greeting teacher all the way into the learning centers. That's her job, to make sure that transition happens, because there's inevitably a second child being dropped off, and that really helps move the line along.
Flow.
Yep.
Yes. So teachers, if you're in a classroom with only 2 of you and one of you is greeting at the door, okay, and the other one is working in the learning centers, and you notice a child is hesitant, then you're going to go over and just say, hey, Stephanie, I'm so glad you're here today. Come on in. Let me show you the water table. We have a water table today, and walk that child over to the water table. But when we do that, and I guess I should say, whenever a parent and a child arrives at the door, doesn't matter if they're 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 4 to infant, we are going to look the parent in the eye.
Yes.
We are going to smile, and we are going to speak to them. Good morning. I am so glad you're here. Maybe you're serving on a Wednesday night. Good evening. We are so glad you're here. My name is Stephanie. I am your child's teacher today. And then you get down on your knee or lower to the child's eye level and say, and tell me your name. And you look at the child in the eye, or if you see their sticker, you know their name, you call them by name and you say, come on in.
I'm so glad you're at church today. We're learning.
Yes, that's your second step. You do the greet, good. And then you say what?
We're learning you can make good choices.
Yeah, that's what we're learning this month. You can make good choices. Come on in and learn how to make a good choice. Yes. And then that second teacher is going to help transition them in. You might mention what we're doing. Today, we're learning to make good choices. We are choosing whether to eat candy or apples. Oh, which one would you rather eat? You can ask the child, candy or apple. Well, come on over here to this learning center and see which one you might choose. Okay, to get them in the room. But you've greeted mom and dad, you've greeted the child, and you've stated what you're learning.
Yeah.
What does that say to a parent?
That you're learning something, that the Bible is being taught in the classroom, that you're dropping your child off into a safe location.
Yes, it tells them all those things. Exactly. So we're going to smile, we're going to greet, right? And then we're going to get the child in the room. We're going to tell them what we're learning. And then let's say it's Hovering Harriet. Hovering Harriet may want to stand outside. She may want to continue to watch. You can say something like this. You can say, oh, Harriet, you know what? Go ahead to the worship service and I'll text you in a little while, or I'll send you a picture in a little while of your child playing and let you know how great they are doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to comfort that parent. Now, depending on if you're from another church, you may not have that phone number. Maybe you have a coordinator or somebody working in the hall that could help you do that. But to make sure that those parents who are a little bit afraid, they're able to go ahead and feel comforted because they got a message from
And when
you.
you do that, the parent always says, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I was still worrying about that. And this just made me feel better.
It sure does. Yes. Now, you may have other kind of parents. This might be the parent who's dropping off their fourth child. Okay.
Do you see those parents?
Yeah, not really, because they're just scooting them down the hall so they can go ahead and check themselves in.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe you're in a place where you don't see the parent, or maybe you serve the parents drop off 1 hour and then you don't see them the second hour, maybe. Okay. So you want to make a conscious effort to get to know those parents. You can not only at church greet them at the door, you can make sure they know what we're learning. Maybe they come at pickup time. At pickup time, you always want to say something positive about their child. Today, Stephanie painted a picture. You've got to ask her about it. It's beautiful. Okay. What does that say to a parent?
You care.
Yes.
You care what their
noticed
child's
her.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe you say, today during the Bible story, I love to do this one. Today during the Bible story, Stephanie acted out the princess, and she was the princess. Be sure to ask her about that Bible story.
Yeah, it goes a long way to parents feeling comforted about what's happening in the classroom and knowing that you are a teacher who is going to be teaching the Bible and they can trust you.
Yes. So when we are at church, we want to be sure at drop off, at pickup, to greet parents, say something to positive, make sure they know what the child is learning. Now, something that we do at Champion Forest that you might try at your church is every afternoon on Sundays, we send a text at the end of church, and it says, hey, parents, today in kids ministry, your child learned blah.
Yeah.
And it will say what they've learned. And then it will say something like, as a family,
Go on a picnic.
yes, or as a family, practice making wise choices this week, and it will give a suggestion for the family to do. So that's a great way to help equip your parents to be the disciplers of their children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really helps parents. They are trying to think of ways to disciple their children, but they don't have a lot of time. Families are really crunched for time with all of the activities that they have going on with school. And this just helps them have something to do, and it's automatic. You can just participate in it with your family.
Yeah. And they can talk about it on the way home in the car. Yeah. Another thing that we love to do is we send home a daily Bible reading.
Yeah.
And if you're a teacher at Champion Forest, we are asking you to make sure that daily Bible reading goes home every Sunday because it has a calendar and it tells the children the scripture to read. And then it has maybe a sentence about the scripture and then an activity or a question that's developmentally appropriate for children.
Yeah. It's a great activity page for the whole family.
Yes, it really is. So that's another way to connect. Make sure they're getting that daily Bible reading and say to parents as they pick up, hey, this is a daily Bible reading for you guys to read the Bible each day. When they're dropping off, especially if it's a regular attender, say, hey, how did your daily Bible reading go this week? Were you guys able to try reading the Bible together?
Yeah. And I've seen some teachers who will give kids stickers or some kind of incentive for finishing out the daily Bible reading, or maybe having mom and dad sign the squares. So lots of teachers have great ideas on how to use that in their classroom.
Yes. So make that part of your connection to families. Yeah. Now, there's other ways that you can reach out to families and connect with families. Number one, we would encourage you to do a class email to parents.
Yeah, like a little newsletter.
Yeah. You can get fancy. You can, if you want to, if you're good at that, if you're Canva. Not so much over here. Mine's going to be a little email, but you can have fun with it. Yeah. And say, this week in our class, because you've planned, you've prepared, we are going to be learning about Miriam in the basket, and we are going to make baskets out of paper, and we are going to play in water this week. Be sure to ask your child.
Now that makes your child, you as a parent, not want to miss what's happening in the classroom. Yes. You're not going to want Johnny to miss making the baskets on a Sunday. So you're going to make sure he's there because you know what's happening in the classroom as a parent. That's going to help parents engage with you as the teacher and help your children have better attendance in your class.
Yes. Yeah. And some of our teachers use GroupMe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They'll form a GroupMe with all the parents in their class. And that way they can just communicate with them anything that's coming up, anything they want them to know. Yeah.
Because you are the owner of your class. You are really taking ownership of what's happening. You are the disciplers of these children.
Yes. And listen, on that note, I'm glad you said that. You got me all fired up. But God has given you these 8, 10, 12, 20 children for one whole year.
Yep.
To disciple these children. And you cannot waste a moment. Yes. And in order for children to truly be discipled, because we tell our parents, we just had a class last night where we told our parents, if you bring your children to Champion Forest for 1 hour every week that's 52 weeks.
Yep.
That means we get them for 52 hours a year.
That's it.
Yeah. That's a little over 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all we get. And so you can't count on us to fully disciple your child.
Nope.
You're the one. So we're going to help equip you. We're going to send you your text home on Sunday. We're going to give you your daily Bible reading. Teachers, you are going to email them and say, hey, try this at home. We learned this. You're equipping the families and connecting with them. You can even offer the book suggestion. Hey, try reading Raising Spiritual Champions by George Barna. Make that suggestion on your GroupMe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because these are your kids.
Yeah. And parents really do appreciate the heads up. They have so many things going on, that extra level of communication. Hey, we're learning about making good choices at church this week. I hope Sarah gets to come. Those are huge helps to parents.
And you're training them when you say, oh, you know what? They're probably thinking, I do need to help Sarah make good choices. Have we thought about that or talked about that lately?
Yeah.
And so you're helping them disciple their child just in simple little emails, GroupMes, text groups.
And parents anybody has to hear things 7 times before they realize, oh, this is for me. And so any way you can get the information in, texting it, emailing it, GroupMe it, whatever it takes for them to really absorb, they're talking to me. They really want me to come to church.
That is so true. I do that myself sometimes. I got to hear it, hear it, and hear it. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Yes.
repetition.
That's right. That's how we learn. Excellent. So we can communicate, lots of different ways with our parents. Now, another wonderful thing to do that some of our teachers do is they'll send birthday cards.
This is so sweet and so different because how often do you get a nice thing in the mail that's not a bill?
Hey, I like the sound of that.
Yes.
And most people don't get things in the mail like that anymore.
Especially kids.
Yes.
You used to be your grandparents might send you something in the mail, but even grandparents aren't using the mail anymore.
Exactly. And the kids love to open it. It's like a little present.
Yeah.
So you can try remembering their birthdays. Also, something that makes your class special is if once a month you have birthday party day.
Oh, yeah.
So you tell your parents on the second Sunday of every month, it's birthday Sunday.
Yeah.
And we celebrate everybody who's had a birthday in that month. Well, everybody wants to be there for birthday day.
Right.
So make some cookies, run by HEB or wherever you're going to run by and grab some cupcakes.
Yeah,
right?
This is not from scratch day. This is just run by HEB and get what you can get.
You can place your order
Yes.
on Saturday night, swing by and let them drop it in your car and head to church. Yes. So a birthday Sunday, sending birthday cards, that's super, super special.
Another sweet time to communicate with parents is when they've missed.
Yes.
Hey, we missed having Sarah here this past Sunday. We love it when she's here. How are y'all doing?
Yeah.
That's simple. It's really simple. And then the parents feel seen. They missed my child when my child wasn't there. That means they really like having him in their class.
Yeah.
And so they'll be responsive to that and come the next Sunday.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, anytime a child misses. I know our church is a little bit larger. And so people can feel like, oh, it's so big. But when you, like Steph has said so many times, own your class. These are your little disciples that you're teaching about Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? And you own their families as well.
Yeah.
It takes your church in it and it makes a big church small.
Kids ministry is unique in that the children are going to come to kids ministry, but the parents may not necessarily be connected to adult ministry quite yet. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it can take adults longer to connect with an adult life group. And so having that opportunity to reach out to the parents, that kids ministry leader might be the only one connecting to the parent. And so that's a huge win when you can help the parents get involved with the church and get connected to a life group as well.
Yeah, we just had that happen this morning. I was doing some guest calls and families come to the worship service.
Yeah.
Right. The adults go to the worship service. Well, they don't check in and give their information in the worship service,
right.
But the kids check in and kids
ministry got the kids info.
Yes. So we have their info and we're calling them.
Yeah.
Another thing that we do is we do guest calls.
Oh, yes.
And so whenever you have a guest, a child who's a first-time guest, call the parent, text the parent.
Yeah. And if you didn't get their information, it's okay. Call the office and we'll make sure that you get the information that you need to make that connection with the parent.
And if you're at a different church, check with your kids ministry leader, check with your coordinator, whomever, and say, hey, I want to start trying to do this. How can I do this at our church?
And
because it makes a difference.
And our leaders are so helpful. Everyone wants to help everyone level up and do better. So if there's one leader who's really good at making Canva newsletters, they do not mind sharing that gift. And you can steal their template and start working on one of your own. Or, hey, how do you start a GroupMe app? How do you get all your families on the GroupMe? People will help each other. And so you find someone who's doing something you like.
That's great. Yes. Yeah. And that can even happen in your classroom. Because if you have 3 teachers in your classroom, somebody may feel like, I am not calling people on the phone.
Yes.
But then you may have somebody like
Chatty Cathy over here.
Yes. It's like, I'll call them. Give me the number. Right. And they love to call on the phone. So they could be the phone caller. You could be the birthday person, and you
And someone else can be the Canva person.
yeah. Whoops. Yes, the Canva person. I'm going to get fired from my job here. All right. The Canva person. Yes. Okay. Use the gifts of the teachers in your room to connect with families.
That's why God has placed your team together.
Yes.
You are a team. You have strengths and you have ways that you can make your classroom the way God has planned for it to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes more.
Seeing it in the hallways is amazing.
Yes.
Y'all are amazing.
So, another way to connect with families. Now, we're going to take you, we're going to really get outside the box here. So, you might need to take a deep breath. But what if one Sunday after church, you invited the families in your class to meet up at a restaurant for lunch? Now, you might say, oh, nobody's going to come. But what if 3 families come?
What if 2 families
What if
came?
2 families? What if one?
Yes.
Yes, that's a connection that you make. And the families connect with each other.
Yeah. That's huge because then families are seeing other families with kids their age. Kids are playing together. Families are encouraging one another. And I don't know about you, but as kids were growing up, I was like, am I the only one with
Going through this problem.
Oh my gosh.
With this crazy kid.
Crazy kids. What am I going to do? And so that is a huge help to families to be able to connect to one another and build on each other's strengths. And they may invite each other to the adult life group.
Yeah, to get them even more connected.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to try that. We do have some leaders who have had picnics at the park after church.
Yeah. Or chili cook-offs.
Yeah. So you get creative, especially if you have that gift of hospitality and you love to have a party. Use your class that God has given you to host, to connect with families and love and disciple families.
And like here at Champion Forest, we'll have like 4 4-year-old classes. And sometimes all the 4-year-old teachers can get together and have a 4-year-old party, which is great. But if you have a smaller church, get the preschoolers together and have a preschool party.
Yes. And don't wait on your kids ministry leader to plan it. Say, hey, here's what we're going to do. Is this okay? And I promise you, they're going to be like, yes,
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
So you can have get-togethers outside the home. Something fun to do is you can do, remember during COVID, what I loved about COVID, we used to have like family night on line. And we would play all these.
Oh, yeah.
We would lead these games and the families would be doing them in their houses, right? And then whatever family won, we would go to their house and we would deliver ice cream or pizza or whatever the prize. I used to love going to their houses, right? And I didn't have to go inside.
No.
I was just going to do a drop off.
Yeah.
And they would come to the door and we stood apart and we chatted. What if you did some drop offs at your family's house? Just call a parent and say,
easy drop-offs.
yeah.
Bluebell ice cream.
Yes. Because you can buy the little cups,
Yeah.
right? In the package.
Or the half-gallon.
Hey, you can drop that off at my house anytime, right? Or go to the dollar store and get it.
Yeah.
People don't care. It can
Yeah.
be a little thing of popcorn
Yeah.
for family to have a movie night with your little bag of popcorn. But that might be something fun for those of you who are saying, I really want to connect deeper with my families. Yeah. So we want to encourage you, connect with parents at church and outside of church.
Yeah.
Yes, because you are the one making a difference. These are the children that God has given you.
And you make a big difference.
Yes.
All of these little things, they may seem really simple and like it's just going out there and you're just doing them. But I promise you, they really are making a difference in families and in the lives of the children that they're bringing to church.
Yeah. So greet them at the door. Smile at them.
Yeah.
Speak to them.
Love them.
Love them. Let them know what their kids are learning.
Yep.
Yes. And then take just a little bit of extra time during your week and reach out to those who maybe were absent, those first-time guests, those birthday friends, and connect with families.